It's no secret that I've been critical about Rig headsets. I mean, I used to love them back when they were Plantronics. Heck, that might have been one of the first gaming headsets I've ever covered, and I've praised like their first 3 releases. I absolutely loved them. But once Nikon acquired Plantronics, or Rig as we know it, again, it's just been the same thing. I honestly think the only exciting thing that we've seen from Rig lately has been their collaboration with Wicked Cushions. And I'm not sitting here trying to just hate on a company, it's just clear as day what it has been. And it's funny, even in my briefing with Rig about this product I'm going to share with you, they were like, hey Techne, we know you've been critical about our product releases in the past, but we really think you're going to be excited about this one. And that's going to be the new Rig R5 Pro HS. Let's see if I'm going to be excited about this one. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the comfort of this new headset here. And I first want to put it on a scale so you can see how much it weighs, and we're coming in at 317 grams. Or 316, well, it's bouncing back and forth. Sorry that you can't see this, by the way. I got a new scale on order that hopefully will be easier to read in the camera. But this headset is fully plastic here as far as your hinges, your ear cups, your headband. Your 3.5 cable is attached, but everything is plastic. But y'all have heard me say many times before, I prefer a lightweight plastic headset over a heavy duty metal headset. So my main point is they're not incredibly heavy. Now, coming over here, looking at the ear cushions, I mean, these things are plump. Like seriously, just take a look at them right there. As far as that width, you can see right there, and then the depth. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. You're looking at pretty much close to an inch. I mean, these are some super deep pads and super plush. You got that memory foam as well, so if you see me press it there, you're gonna see it holds that shape quite a bit. Now the cool thing as far as swapping these, simple as a magnetic press. And they do have the rubber seal around them, the dampening foam, so you're not gonna get that vibration from plastic to plastic. But again, really nice to just plop down on there and then to sit on. So I'm sure Wicked Cushions will work on some as well. But again, these pads straight up right here are super nice. Cloth on the inside, cloth all the way around, so very breathable. That does also play in the sound, which we're gonna talk about. And then coming up here to the headband, it's the same kind of cloth, but you don't have that memory foam. It's just kind of like that plush type of pillow. And then as far as adjustability, you have that full swivel right there, so you can get all the way flat and a little bit forward right there. The adjustability is tension right here. And even though it's plastic to plastic, you still got some nice tension. It's not grinding feeling or anything like that. It doesn't feel cheap. You got some really nice tension in there. The other cool thing, as far as these plates right here, where you see it states Rig, they are actually, well, I just pulled off the ear pad, but these are actually swappable as well. And yes, they will be making some replacement plates for these. You see you got a little custom, I'm not sure if this is like an esports team or whatever. Then you got the PlayStation bit right here. This one feels a little bit heavier, must be that paint coating on it. But as you see, there are your hinges inside there. And as y'all have noticed with my headset videos, I like talking about the build quality right along with comfort in the same segment, as I think they go hand in hand, because you're going to be taking this headset on, putting it on and off, and I think it's really going to play into it as far as like that clamping force. And then again, the ear pads, being able to swap them out and stuff, the simplicity and how durable does that feel. But again, as you see me twisting these up, I don't get worried about them one bit, even though they are incredibly lightweight and fully plastic. And the cool thing, again, as you saw them moving on the tension rods right there, when I put this headset on, by the way, the clamping force is pretty much right at a medium clamping force. Believe it or not, even though it's all plastic and you got big plush ear pads, it's still a little bit tighter than say like a SteelSeries or a Black Shark or something like that. It's not uncomfortable. I wear glasses all the time, and you can see they slide in and out perfectly fine. They're not pressing in up here. That's due to these very plush and big plump ear pads right here. Very nice combination as far as the clamping force, because it keeps that sound again closer to your ears, which plays a big role with these ear pads being cloth. Anyways, I'm trying to talk about sound here. But again, talking about that built-in comfort, the combination here, I never caught myself being like, oh man, let me take these off, or oh, these are unbearable, or my ears are spicy. It was super comfortable, and I will give them the stinking cozy badge for sure. The build, again, they're fully plastic, but I really, really like how your forks are underneath these covers, so if you accidentally drop them, they're not gonna hit those forks and potentially break. Maybe this will pop off or something, but I feel like it's a nice protection piece as well. Now, unfortunately, your 3.5 is attached. That's probably the only stinker as far as build here, because you run over this with your chair, your dog chews it up, your headset is kaput. Now let's go and talk features and functions real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you that microphone test. And as you saw, this is a 3.5 headset, so features and functions are going to be a little bit limited here, but it will work across every single platform. Even though you saw it's a PlayStation version, it's 3.5, so heck, slap it into your mobile controller, perfectly fine. Xbox controller, whatever you have, obviously it's going to work. Again, stinker that the cable is attached, but whatever. Over here, you have your volume control, which is a little slider midway in here. And you see I'm kind of struggling to get it off the max right there. So whenever I push it down, that is your bottom. But right up here, before you get to max, there's like a little bump in there, like a speed bump. So I'm going to slide it. And by the way, this has some really nice tension as well. So all the way at the bottom, I slide it up here, bam, and it stops, but I'm not maxed out. So the reason I want to mention this is make sure if you get this headset, you're like, oh man, the volume's a little low. What's going on? Well, you actually got to give it a little bit of extra bump right there, and then it locks into the max volume. Now, the stinker is whenever you're down here, it's a little bit above medium volume. It doesn't feel like a maxed out volume, but bam, once you get that last clip in, it's like blaring in your ears. So it's really not, you kind of got like medium low right here, and then bam, up into high. So I'm sure they did that so it locks in there. It's not accidentally adjusting on you, which I can appreciate, but the increments are, again, a little drastic from that stopping speed bump to the max notch right there. As far as your microphone, it is flipped down to active and then flip up to mute, and it actually gets into that mute spot right here. You don't have to get it all the way to the top. You just have to go bam right there, and then you can get it up there out of the way. And the cool thing, I'm gonna show you this microphone test in a second, but just take a look at how long that microphone is. And now you're hearing the microphone on the new R5 Rig headset. No fancy tweaking. You all know I don't have a crazy studio. It's just a standard game room. My PC's chugging, my ceiling fan is rolling. I got a fan in that light right over there as well. So any sound reverberation or bounce or noise picking up, you're hearing it exactly like in a raw game room setting. That's what I like delivering to you guys. Nothing crazy studio sound like, man, why does this mic sound so good? That's because he's got $1,000 worth of sound dampening around his room, you know, and no software tweaking. You can see I just got a straight up Windows microphone recording here. That is all you're hearing. And I'll tell you, and by the way, we're about like 2 fingers length from the microphone. As far as that mute, I want to show you here again. We go here. It still should be still active. Are we still, let me go over here. We should still be getting voice. Yeah. But now, coming back down to active. I was kind of curious if we heard, because there is a bump in the headset. There's no tones or anything, but you got a little bump in there. So again, I'm kind of curious. You know, whenever you mute your friend, you hear that whenever they mute. Kind of curious if we got that right there. One thing I want to mention is, again, you see how long, like I mentioned before, this microphone's long, which I really like because you can get it in front of your mouth. So now I'm like maybe just at a finger. I'm going to talk a little lower. I'm a loud talker, as you all know, right? But now keeping this at like a finger's length, am I sounding more clear? My P's and T's, they're very prominent. You all know those are quite spicy either, right? But now let's go and pull the microphone a little further away and see if I can get back to my regular talking voice. I'll bring it down a little bit too, see if that sounds any better. Because I did listen to a playback and my P's and T's were again very prominent, and I did hear some of that reverberation bouncing off the walls there. One thing I do want to try, y'all know I always recommend you picking up these windscreens off Amazon. I believe it's like under $10 for a whole pack of these things. And again, they're just nice and thick, and you can use them on any headset. So give me a second. I'm going to go and put this on here. All right. So now, do I sound any better with the windscreen on? I'll go and put it in front of my mouth as well. And my goal for these is, number one, reducing my P's and T's. So it's not just psst and tss in the microphone all the time, but maybe it'll give it a little bit of body, kind of reduce some of that reverberation off there. And again, you can use these on any headset. Links are down below. But as far as this microphone, the results I had listening to a playback, I caught some of the stuff where I was like, okay, you know, I probably want to put one of these foams on it here. But I wanted to give you guys a test of it in that core. And then as far as it with the foam on it, going ahead and taking it off now, you can see for yourself if you're hearing any difference. But all in all, I know this is a longer mic test, but this is the mic test on the new Rig headset. Now let's talk about the sound of this headset. And trust me, this is one of the juicy points about this headset. So we have a 3.5 headset, and I've probably called it budget sometimes in the video, and I don't know if it's maybe a pinch above the budget range. Anyways, we'll talk about that after the sound here, about the price and everything. But this headset is actually packing graphene drivers with a frequency range of 20 to 40,000. I don't think we've ever seen that in actually we have. Let me correct myself. Right here in front of me, actually, the Corsair Virtuoso Pros. Look at that. I was going to say this is the first wired headset with graphene drivers. A lot of the Corsair ones have them. They are a bit more expensive than these, but still they have them. But talking about this and more lower in the budget class here, these drivers, you all know I love graphene drivers almost as much as I love planar magnetics. Planar magnetics up here, graphene right here. Well, SteelSeries new carbon fiber ones come above them right there. Then graphene. But graphene is just such an awesome driver that I think all headsets should start using them as like the standard starting point. Then you build up from there, because what you get is you get that clarity, you get that detail, and you can get some body out of them. They're not punchy or rumbly by any means, but you can tone them and dial them in to get some of that good story immersion. Now with the rigs here, and this is one thing you all know, I'm not a fan of this kind of marketing, right? I stated it before, where FPS, right? Like, oh, this is an FPS or competitive type product. I get that's where the money is. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I get it, right? FPS sells. Put it on the box and it's going to move, right? And that's what they state right here. Right over here, high fidelity audio tuned for competitive gaming. And even in the briefing and when we talked about it and everything, FPS this, FPS that, footsteps this. It's kind of like, I get it. Again, that's where the money is. I can see that and respect that, you know, but let's keep gaming as gaming, and then you can pull them to what you want. You know what I mean? Maybe they should have a class of FPS. And I don't know. It's just my opinion. I don't mean to get on a rant here, but my main point of this is even they said that even though they're graphene drivers, you got this frequency range, yada, 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 they're still tuned for FPS from Rig and Nikon, right? And clear as day, I'm going to agree with them. Like 100%. I don't play many competitive FPS. I've been dabbling with the Call of Duty beta, and I'm going all Battlefield this year. I'm just kind of burnt out on Call of Duty, and you all know I'm a big Call of Duty fan, right? But talking about me playing stuff like that, it's such a chaotic game. Score streaks and announcers hollering and stuff like that. It's hard to pick up different like footsteps or a reload or something in Call of Duty because there's just so much malarkey going on. It's just crazy. It's like, yo, tone us down a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm going to play some Insurgency or Rainbow Six, and then you can truly decipher that stuff. So again, me playing Call of Duty, I couldn't really tell a difference, but where I could tell a difference, again, where I say, okay, yeah, it is tuned for FPS, because when I went to like play Destiny on the PC, or even a story game on a PlayStation or something like that, or Xbox, Diablo, you notice the sound is just subtle in the background back there, right? Like that immersion in that bass is kind of, it's distant, right? Like you catch yourself right when you put it on and you're playing a story game, like, okay, I got to do something about this. Now, I ran it in my amp using the Fosse K7, right? That's what it's called? K5, K7? I don't know. I've covered it so many times. I love the thing. Anyways, I go in there and I had to dial, like I even pulled my treble up a little bit, even though it's good there. I cranked my treble up to like 5, and then my bass up to around 3, maybe 4, vice versa, you know? And it really came to life. It's like, okay, now I can get down with this playing Destiny or a story game or something. But straight out of the box playing a story game, I was like, yeah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? And I think that's a shame, honestly, because a lot of people that buy a headset, they want it for gaming, not just FPS. And some of you just don't like messing with EQs, right? You want that good headset across the board, you know? And again, I'm not a competitive player, so I can't really speak on that too much. I do decent when I play FPS, but I can give less of a hoot if I win or lose. You know what I mean? I'm just out here to game and have fun. But I think what we're getting right here is, again, that immersive sound toned down a little bit, so you can focus more on like FPS type of play. But if you want to play like a story game, you're gonna have to go in there and tune it up, get yourself some of that bass and immersion, and then crank up your highs a little bit so it kind of meshes together. And then you really get what those graphene drivers are supposed to perform like with the Astros or the Corsairs or something. You can get that same sound out of this budget-ish type of headset, which is really impressive because most headsets with graphene drivers, they're above $100, above 150. You know what I mean? So yes, the sound is great, but just understand it is tuned down a bit for that FPS type play, but you can tune it to, again, really shine for a story game. You just got to give it the time it deserves. But I really do like this headset. I'm not going to, like, no fluff here or anything. I love what Rig did. I enjoyed using these. Never caught myself wanting to change when I was using them. It's just like, oh, let me reach down here. Compared to what they had here, these were good, you know, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. These were fantastic. But now seeing this upgrade here, and I love how they released in the budget-ish class, right? They could have released like a wireless metal Bluetooth version and it'd been 300 something bucks. But to offer this at 70 bucks, where I think a lot more people can afford it and get really great sound and graphene drivers, is awesome. And I'm gonna high five Rig or Nacon, whoever, we're just gonna call them Rig, right? I think that is super cool because now some of you, they didn't want to spend over 100 bucks or 300 bucks or heck, 600 bucks like the new SteelSeries one, right? Getting this at 70 bucks, which isn't really budget. I think 50 and under is budget in my opinion, right? But at a few bucks more, getting everything you're packed right here with those graphene drivers, being able to experience that awesome sound in the more expensive headsets, I think is super cool. So I know throughout this video, I was a little bit of a chatterbox on this headset. And honestly, that's how I like going about all of my videos. But y'all know when I start talking about audio, I just start nerding out. And I love giving you guys and relaying through the camera to your screen here my experience actually using the product. Not just throwing up numbers or marketing mumbo jumbo that they send to me or whatever that a company sends. I want to talk about my experience. And that's kind of why I ramble off, especially in audio videos of this one here, because this one really excited me. What Rig did here is super cool. And hopefully I was able to relay that message to you in excitement in what this product really is. Hopefully you were able to get that, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.